Hi, and welcome to this video about the purchase request process for student organizations at Wright State University. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Dylan Collison. I've worked in the office for a bit, but I've transitioned into the full-time accounting role. So I am your guy for finance and purchase requests. If you have any questions, feel free to email the office. It's sil@ready.edu. Shoot us an email. Either me or someone else on our team will be able to assist you with your purchase request or any other your finance or accounting needs. But let us introduce the new purchase request form to you. So, why are we introducing a new form? Why is there a new process? So, our goal here for the new purchase process is to create a streamlined process, one form for all your purchase requests go to, reducing paper forms such as the ProCard form, really taking all of these forms and putting it into one, and to increase transparency on the purchasing process. So, me as a student organization leader, when I put a request in and I send Dylan an email, how or where in the process is my request and how do I know if it's being completed or not? Well, within this form, you will see a lot more information. And our goal is also to help the treasurers be able to better manage the purchasing request, as all purchases will now have to go through this form. So effective March 6, 2024. If you're watching this video later, this is when the news post is. So if you want to read more about the process, it's March 6, 2024. All purchase requests, including ProCard requests, will go through this form. So I'm going to go over this really briefly and show you how to get to the form. And we're going to talk about what kind of information needs to go into the form. So the form is really set up in three main sections. There are two sections that are set up by our vendor that are standard with the form, and the reason it's set up that way is because there's certain reports and data pieces that come out of it. So there's the request details section. The request details section has the subject, description, requested amount, categories, and account. So the subject, for us, really you just need to just briefly describe the purpose of the transaction. So we put a little standard little formula here for you. So if you just put the org name, the vendor, and then events or details, that is perfect. If you want to put a date in there, even better. That really gets us started so we can just glance by and see what the request is. A description, you kind of have two spots where you're going to be able to provide a description. This one is just in this particular section, but place a really, or type out a really good detailed description of what you're trying to do here. The more information you put in there, the better we can help serve you. Depending on what the type of request is, we have to send it on to additional approvals. And, I can guess what you're trying to convey here and kind of guess what the purpose of the purchase is. But the more information you give me, the better I can serve you. The requested amount, you can give the exact or ballpark. If you're on ballpark, ballpark up a little bit. So if you are trying to have a DJ come out and you think it's going to be $400, but you want to be safe and put $500, put $500. If you know exactly, you have an invoice already, it's $400, put $400. Categories. So the categories are a place where you can kind of give us a general idea of what the transaction is. So very generalized. So if it's the catering, AV charges, whatever it is, these categories are they mirror what our finance system reflects. So if you pick what the appropriate category is, we can then come back and select exactly what it needs to be on our end. If you don't know what it is, pick the best guess you have, and then we can also go and make the necessary adjustments later. And then the account. So then this is where you'll kind of select where your expenses can be charged. If you look at it, it does tell you if it balances $0 right now. There are plans to build this feature in the future so organizations can check their balances on their profile. Right now, it does not exist. But as of now, select the appropriate account that you wish to charge. So if you have several different accounts, just select the one you want to charge. Payee information, so who are you paying? Additional information, and these are kind of university-specific questions. We do have some options and deadlines we want to make sure you're aware of. General purchases. So if you're just using the ProCard, going to local business real quick, we really need 10 days. If you're doing online stuff, 30 days is really helpful, especially if it's over $1,000. We need to have it as soon as possible because we want to make sure that you are getting your purchased in time, and we have to get additional approvals for those kind of things. So pre-travel, this is the only time in the purchasing process you have to do a separate form. You will have to go and do a pre-travel form before you do the purchase request. The pre-travel is going to ask you a lot more questions about who's traveling, where you're traveling, that the purchase request form does not ask you. Contracted vendors, so if you're having to have someone come to campus, hiring a DJ, photographer, you're hiring performers, whatnot, those fall into that category. And then additional fields, so we need you to describe the goods or services. This can be the exact same thing you put up here in the description line, but give us as much information as possible. Again, ask yourself who, what, when, where, why, and how. Include as much information as possible. Your FOP codes, or your FOPL or FOP, people will say, your treasurers have access to these and have them recorded. If they don't, you need to let us know so we can get those to you. This is essentially your student organization bank account number. Preferred payment method, right? Are you just going to Walmart and buying something? That's a credit card, right? If you need to go and get a contracted vendor, probably gonna be a check. There are other ways that we can pay vendors, but those are the two most common or the standard kind of protocol, standard operating procedure. There is a space there you can put another different method if need be. Quotes, estimates, or invoices. Attach any relevant documents you have available. Something is delivered or you have an event date for the goods or services, put that in there, and then also any other special instructions. So without further ado, what we're going to do is go to the form. So what I'm going to do is navigate. I'm actually under Donnell, who's going to be a graduate assistant in our office. One of my fraternity brothers. I asked him to sign in for me real quick because he doesn't have admin privileges. So what you'll do is navigate to your organization. So for here's my fraternity sorority council. You can select the little gear here. I'm going to just go ahead and select the organization. And then you can select manage organization. Again, those two buttons get you to the same place. You're then going to go down to finance. So this page may seem familiar for those who have done SOBC before. What you'll do is you will go up to create request, and there'll be a drop down. You can also go to your account section, which we're going to go and visit that real quick. And there's a create new request here as well. All I'm going to do is click this, and you will select create purchase request. And this is the form. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go and type in fraternity sorority council. And then we said the vendor, we're going to say it's Consolidatus. So they're going to go buy some promos. And they need promos for Fall Fest. You'll then do the description. You can also go up here and click populate from budget. If you have an approved student organization budget committee budget, you can click this and you can populate the information directly from the budget. Let's see, that's fraternity sorority council is purchasing 500 stress balls to distribute at tabling fairs on campus. We're going to request $1,000. Oh, $1,000. For category, you'll try to guess the closest one. So for here, we're going to do promo and outreach. That's the correct one for promos. And for account, we're going to select this one. Some organizations will have several. This organization only has one. And again, you see there's a balance of 0. Don't worry about that. No one sees a balance. That's because our systems aren't talking right now, and we do have plans to work with CATS to kind of get this set up for our organizations to be able to see the information on their Engage profile. Payee information. So here's a good example. So let's say that we are buying something for Dylan. We would type that information there, right? We're not. So let's say we were paying Dylan. We would put all the information here. Since we're just doing a vendor, we're going to put the vendor name in the last name section. Solidus is one of our contracted vendors, so we don't necessarily need to fill out information, but for the sake of making sure this is all correct, what we're going to do is go ahead and get all this information from this organization. It's Akron. All right. The additional information section, again, you can read more about the different deadlines and options that for your organization, instructions of how to do credit cards for doing a check, reimbursements. Again, reimbursements are extremely rare, and we really discourage them. We're going to put the same descriptions up here, down here, but again, we're going to try to give us more detail. So again, how the purchase supports the organization's missions and goals. Their organization FOP, theirs is a little more complicated, but yours might be at like a 999, so like a 999-123. Again, your organization treasurer should have this information. If they don't, let us know and we'll get this information to them. We're gonna do a check. I don't have a quote, but you would, in most cases, you would go and actually upload a quote or an invoice here. Any documentation that you want to include can go here. If you're buying something off Amazon, what you can do is go to the online purchase request template, it's a spreadsheet, download it and upload that. We're not getting the credit card, but if you were getting a credit card, you can go and, say we're requesting it at 3:30 p.m. That lets me know so we can go in there and schedule a time for you. We're going to put not applicable. This is our delivery date. We need it for Fall Fest. So Fall Fest is going to be August 2024. That's all. That's all the purchase request needs. Now, the next step here. So when we submit a purchase request, the first person that gets notified about the request is going to be the treasurer. So you can see here that the stage has been set to level 1 treasurer review. Donnell is assigned as a treasurer, so what he can do is take this request here after reviewing it and setting it to the SIL review. After that, it is now with the SIL review. SIL will then go and take a look at it and get it reviewed, and we'll send it to the rest of the approval queue. So this is how you do a purchase request. Hopefully this process is easier. Again, it's not necessarily perfect yet, but we want our student organizations to be able to give feedback and have the opportunity to kind of play with it. So please let us know if you have any comments, questions, concerns about the form and how we can make this a much more enjoyable, less tedious, and more transparent process. So if you have any questions, my name is Dylan Collison. My email is Dylan, DYLAN.Collison, COLLISON @Rider.edu. My office is also in 190 Student Union, so feel free to come on by and ask some questions. So thank you. Have a nice day.